and he tells Noah to build the ark. He has to build it, and he said, in 7 days, I'll cause a rain to come. And you notice that the rain lasted 40 days and 40 nights. That the children of Israel, the Israelites, the Exodus story where they were rescued from the captivity of servitude to Pharaoh, that God delivers them out of that land, out of that region, out of that relation where they have to ask somebody else whether I eat, drink, where I sleep on the daily. God said, this is not what I have for you. But they leave, and they leave ungrateful, and so they have to walk around in the desert for 40 years. Jesus is tempted of the devil after he comes from self-suppression, fasting, praying, seeking the face of God. 40 days, 40 nights. This is 40 we're talking about. This is significant. This is biblical numbering that we're talking about. Is that the God who would be in creation is the same God who puts Adam in time and says that I'll put skin on you, and from the dust have you came, and so shall ye return when you run out of time. I need to tell somebody on today that the good news is that time has come to a standstill. It's come to a standstill on today because we stand yet again at the night of 40. We stand at the night right before the crossover. This is the day that the relations change. This is the day that Jesus leaves the suppression of fasting and walks into the greater glory of his ministry. This is the day that is the last day the children of Israel walk around aimlessly in the desert. This is the day that the rain and the flood waters would stop running down from heaven upon the earth. This is the day. This is the day right before we saw the manifestation of the miracle after 40. You'd note that Jesus is somewhere in his 30s when he would be crucified on the cross, but many depictions say he is 39 to 40. He is somewhere between the age range of late 30s to early 40s. He would be coming to a completion of his life, the transcending from earth to heaven. He would be completing the mission. He would be saying, in a place where I was suppressed and down and demised and disputed, and people rejected me and doubted me and didn't believe in me, and people who I came to save were really being selective and wouldn't speak to me. I'm talking to somebody about your future, is that your past don't look like what you're looking at, and I'm saying that the turnaround is that it's going to be different this time around. I can't hear nobody in the room on today that somebody needs to know that Jesus is the example for the newness of life. He is put in the tomb. He is wrapped in funeral clothes. He is laid on the sepulchre. He is hidden behind the stone. And I know for so many years you've been in a place where it has been of detriment, the way people bury you, You're not even sure what you should do, how you should perform, how you should act, what way you should feel, if you should be happy or sad, if you should be angry or mad, if you should be grateful and thankful, if you should be pissed off and irritated. You don't know how to feel by how they've done you. But can I tell you on today is that those things where people would bury you and lay you and say that you'd never get up from here, rise again, that nothing else you would achieve in your life, that's the end of your story. Tell those people that early Sunday morning. Tell those people that the day it hits 40 was the day that the rain stopped. Tell those people that 41 is the day that Jesus walked into his destiny. Tell those people who said that you'd never amount. Tell them that after 40 years and 1 day is when they stop walking aimlessly. Tell those people who would count you out and dispute you that I'm looking at my future and you focused on my failure. You don't want to dispute me. You don't want to count me out in this season. In this season, you might get your feelings hurt if you look at me the wrong way, projecting onto me that I'm going to stay right here. If there's not relevant word for anybody in the room on today, know that God says where they laid you, I won't leave you. It is that I'm moving you to a place of walking into your destiny. You are walking into your greater glory. You are walking into the fullness of life that you will be able to fulfill from this point on. I'm talking to somebody. If you've seen a score, for somebody, you have seen decades. You have lived through the ups and downs, the trial and tribulation. You have seen the trouble. You've been involved in the manipulation. You've been wayward by projection. You've been unaware of what it is, the attack of the enemy over these past 40 years. I can't hit nobody. I'm talking about somebody who's wasn't born in the 2000s, but it includes you too. I'm talking to people who was born in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. Is that we survived 40 years. But preacher, what is the significance of surviving if I'm not sure the direction, the location, the destination for where I'm meant to be? If you don't know, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you where it is you need to be on today. The destination for location of designation for where you need to be is in a place where you can envelop in, I'm about to walk into everything God promised me. That's the location I find myself at on today. That I am 1 day away. I can't hear nobody. I am 1 day away from my life changing forever. I am 1 day away from being independently sound. I am 1 day away from not being addicted to any habits, not being subjected to any people who would only deal with me because they have to, but they don't like me. I am 1 day away from receiving every blessing, every vision, every dream. I'm talking about the manifestation and just not the imagination. I'm talking to somebody who can believe God that these past 40 years, the enemy has been playing on your intellect. He's been playing on your niceness. He's been playing on your salvific relationship. He's been playing on your singlehood. He's been playing on your mind. The enemy has been playing in your family line, in your bloodline. These past 40 years, your family has been under attack. But can I tell you in the room on today that the next 40, I can't hear nobody. The next 40 years is going to put you in a place where you change the story for your family. You You change the location of your destiny. You change what man would say you died. Yeah, you live. Is that I am not determined, defined, distinguished by my past. I am destined for greater. You can say I died right here if you want to. It's gonna hurt your feelings when I get up from this grave. It's gonna make you rethink what it is you spoke about me when I get up from here. You ain't gonna be sure how it is you gonna approach me, take me, deal with me when I get up from here. And I've got to tell you on today, you got to know that God is more than still in control over your next 40, the same way he's had his hand on your last 40. Is that the children of Israel come out of a place where they work for somebody else and God freed them. I can't hear nobody. He says, I'm putting you in a place where you can be self-sufficient in every way. You ain't just gonna be talking about you independent. You will be independent. I'm not talking to nobody who likes working for them but keeps coming home complaining about where they are. I'm talking to people who is fed up and tired that these past 40 years that nobody that's connected to me in my family is going to be in a place again where you are unsure, you are unequipped, you are unobtained, you are unfamiliar with the will, the word, the working of God is going to make it happen over the next 40 years. I'm talking to some people with faith on today. I'm talking to anybody who knows God is able on today. I'm talking to somebody who can identify the next 40 years is going to be my best 40 years. I speak a word of encouragement. I speak life. I proclaim the prophecy over you on today that anybody who receives it, that these next 40 years are going to be greater than your latter. Job chapter 41. Bible declares, Job chapter 42, verse 10. Bible declares that, and when he prayed for his friends, God turned it and would bless him where his latter was greater than his former. I can't hear nobody in the room on today. Is that you are in a serious place where you need God to not only show up, but you need him to wow out. You need God to do the impossible over tonight. You cannot wait 40 years to see the manifestation. And at that time, your kids have kids. I'm talking to somebody who is putting God on a deadline to say, if you could do it for Jesus, if you could do it for the children of Israel, if you could do it for Job, I need tomorrow. I'm walking into my greater season. I need it. I need it today. I need it. I need it tonight. I need it. I need it at the break of midnight. Paul and Silas began to worship under God. I needed when the earthquake would come, everything that is shaky in my life falls off. I need everything that is connected to me that don't look like God going the opposite direction. I need every door open. I need every wall built against me to come down. I need every attack of the enemy to be dismissed, and where I am disrupted in my spirit, I need peace to envelop into my place. God, where I am locked up in my mind, I am at midnight. The earthquake shook everything. And it says that their chains were broken and the jail cell doors were opened, and I believe God on today that in the morning, everything that had you held, bound, confused, walking around in a place where you're speaking the blessings of God, but not seeing what you said. I'm talking to somebody who can identify with what I say ain't always what I've seen, but God is moving you to a place where everything that you've spoken positive over your life, every word, every dream, every vision that they said would not come to pass. And I believe God that January 1st, 2020, I'm talking to somebody who would be in lack, get ready for plenty. I'm talking to somebody who's been dealing with stress, get ready for relief. I'm talking to somebody who would be praying for the marriage but haven't seen the man. Get ready to walk down the aisle. I'm talking to somebody who you've been suppressed and suffering and sacrificing. Get ready, get ready, get ready. That God is setting the table. He will prepare the feast that you never know this kind of lack again. I'm talking to somebody on today that you don't know how, but you believe God. I'm telling you, God is going to make a way. I'm talking to somebody who can believe by faith that in the past 40 years, my mama and my daddy and my grandmother and my grandfather, I'm talking to somebody on today who can know that everybody that's been connected to me to help me get through these past 20, 30, 40 years, that at midnight we all get free. The significance of the number 40 is that we walk into 2020 at the first day. It is decades have passed, and people who we may have started it with, at some point in time we had to see off and don't end it with. And you have to be proud of you, that where the enemy would lay you, God saw fit to muster up enough strength inside of you where you can testify amongst yourself, I won't lay, I won't stay, I won't leave me where they left me. You have to self-identify with the power of life is in your tongue. And you speak life over everything that would appear dead. Everything that would appear lost. You speak life over everything that would appear weighed, heavy, abrupt, disturbed. Everything that God spoke that you see that don't line up with your destiny, as you speak life on today. That not in my own power, but I know the God I serve is going to make a way, that God can't help but to fulfill every word that comes out of your mouth of a prosperous end over yourself in the future, because you have made it this far. I know in the story of the children of Israel, many people started the journey and fell weight of prey to the attack of walking. But if you can identify with, I've had to walk while weary. I've had to walk weighted with the generations of 40 years on my back. I've had to walk in this thing, carrying the load of everybody that's in my bloodline that is waiting for me to set the tone for a new era in destiny. I've had to walk. But it didn't kill me. Walking tired me, but didn't take me. Walking got me whined and dined, but it did not get me off track of time. Walking Walking made me sad and cry, but even in my sorrow of crying, I did not die. Walking this way got me to this point where I can self-identify and say it was God that walked with me along on the way these past 40 years. You millennials hear me? These past 40 years have been for you. That everything you've been through, going through, I says get ready, because your season of walking, weight and weary stops right here.